Do good, Maverick. Go here. Welcome to podcast episode number 93. Imperfect action almost always beats perfect inaction. When it comes to procrastination or postponing things, it's often the case that just taking action, even if it's not as good as you wish it was, maybe it's not as perfect as you wish it was. It's often the case that it's the right thing to do, to take imperfect action instead of wasting time, postponing things, procrastinating. Perfection equals paralysis, like Dan Pena says. There's a lot of truth to it. And, when I look back at my own many mistakes I've done over the years, when I look back at things, it's very often the case that I wish I started sooner. Or even when things that I tried to do and failed on, oftentimes it turned out that the failure that might just have been a small, tiny little failure, it ended up being actually a pretty big one, because I postponed things so long and procrastinated so long before I actually launched it, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, because I wasted so much time beforehand focusing on it before I launched it, that when it failed, I'd also wasted a lot more time than I could have done. Had I just launched it a lot earlier, the results would have been very much the same oftentimes, because sometimes you don't have to, sometimes the time you spend to prepare something, a lot of it is procrastination, but also it turns out that maybe you would fail either way, because sometimes maybe you don't have product market fit. Maybe what you are planning to launch is not actually what the market, what people really want. Even if you spend like several months trying to perfect the product, so to speak, if it's not something that people actually want, a lot of that time will be wasted. Whereas if you launch early with an MVP, so-called, a minimum viable product, if you launch it, you can start getting real life customer feedback, So yeah, imperfect action almost always beats perfect inaction. By the way, here's a few Bible verses when it comes to the topic of procrastination. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead, where you are going, there is neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom. That's from Ecclesiastes 9, verse 10. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. Ecclesiastes 11, verse 4. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6, verse 9. And this verse, above this Bible verse, it says, boasting about tomorrow. Now listen, you who say, today or tomorrow, we will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on business and make money. Why? You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this or that. James 4, verse 13 through 15. Postponing things, procrastination, it's a scary thing. Procrastination is the killer of a lot of hopes and dreams, And this, the thing about this concept of imperfect action almost always beats perfect inaction is that yeah, when it comes to a lot of the mistakes I did over the years, it's almost always the case that I wish I took action sooner. Of course, some things I wish I never, a lot of things I wish I never did. But if you're going to do something, and if you have already made the decision to do something, then you should be very careful about wasting time. Because if you're going to fail, you should fail extremely fast so that you have more time and resources left over to try again and succeed, you know. And once you take action and do something, things can change fast. What does it take? You know, how is things supposed to change for the better if you don't take action? Once you start taking action, things happen, you know. I keep repeating this, but you know, the last few weeks I focused on doing a bunch of interviews of real life success stories of paid communities. You know, people that are running paid communities and making at least $10,000 in profit per month. And I keep repeating this thing that really surprised me. I'm going to interview at least 30 real life success stories like that. At the time of this recording, I've just interviewed a few of them, a bunch of them, but not all 30. But yeah, the thing that really surprised me with several of these was how quickly they did it. I guess I was kind of expecting something like, yeah, I got the idea and then I prepared this and that and did research and made the website ready and this and that, and it went a few months. I guess I was expecting something like that. But what really surprised me was that for several of these people that I interviewed, they got the idea and launched. And from the day they launched their paid community, several of them, it took only like 2 to 3 months, and they were already at over $10,000 in profit per month. You know, one guy, I keep repeating this story because it's so cool. One guy from Germany, he built a paid community about artificial intelligence. So basically what happened was that he became an uncle. One of his siblings got a child and he became an uncle. And he was thinking like, hey, what a fascinating world this little child is going to grow up in, with all these things happening with artificial intelligence and stuff. It's really fascinating. And oh, hey, that child is going to grow up with all this artificial intelligence stuff. I myself, I should know about this. I should know about this artificial intelligence stuff. And hey, there's also this new, really fascinating platform out there where people are building paid communities. He was referring to the school platform, skool.com. You know, he was kind of thinking like this, and then almost immediately he picked up his phone and called a friend of him, because he himself didn't really know much about AI, but he had a friend that did know a bunch about AI. So he called his friend and was like, hey, I want to start a paid community about AI. Are you in? Do you want to join me and partner with me? And he agreed to it. So they basically partnered to start a paid community in Germany about AI. This was the day he got the idea. He called his friend. And the very next day, he launched. The very next day. He didn't fool around for weeks. The very next day, he launched it. And he basically launched the vision for the paid community, because there wasn't really much content or much concept behind it yet. So he basically launched the vision for what they were planning to do. And they started with a low price for the first few members, and they gradually increased the price per month to be a member as they were growing. So they launched it the very next day after he got the idea. And then I think it was the same week or the week after, something like that, he was able to find he had a guy he knew that had an email list with a bunch of people on it, but he didn't really promote that many things to his email list. So he contacted that email list owner and he asked him if he wanted to promote a workshop about AI to his email list. And he made an affiliate deal where this email list owner, for each sale that they generated, for each person that became a member of their paid community, they were going to pay him, I think it was 23% affiliate commissions, and it was recurring monthly. So every month, he will receive 23% affiliate commissions for all the sales that are being generated through his email list. And and then they were running like 2 workshops per week to that email list, and in just a few short weeks, I think it was around 3 months, and they were already at above $10,000 in profit per month. But yeah, he launched super quickly. Imperfect action almost always beats so-called perfect inaction. And he also had a friend that was, I think he was a personal trainer, something like that. And he talked about starting a paid community as a personal trainer, something like that, around that niche. I talked about it. Yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to start a paid community. He kept talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. I think it was, I forgot how many weeks it was. He kept talking about it, but he didn't do much about it. Then he got really annoyed with him and give me 3 hours, I think he said, and I will help you launch. No, I can't. I think he was objecting, like, no, I can't. I have to prepare. Finally, he got him to convince him to spend like 3 hours with him one evening or one afternoon, and he helped him for like a few hours, and then he launched, and he got a few members. Then he was off to the races. Now he could continue growing it. I forgot how many sales that personal trainer or what kind of profit per month he was at these days. But basically, he helped in just a few hours. He helped them launch the whole thing. So yeah, once you launch, things can happen. And that's another fascinating thing about paid communities, because what that guy did, it was really cool. But actually, it's something that I've seen a lot of people do when it comes to paid communities, that they're launching it in a very simple way. They have maybe the vision for what they are going to do, and oftentimes the way people are doing it, they're launching it with a low price, and then gradually they're increasing the price as they get more members. And the thing is, the way a lot of people are doing it, especially on the school platform, is that once they're launching a paid community with a low price in the beginning, maybe they're launching it at like $5 per month or $10 per month. Those people that are entering at $10 per month, later on, after a few weeks or months, when they have increased their price to maybe $100 per month, those people that entered at $10 per month, they still are paying only $10 per month. That's the way a lot of people are doing it, which makes it even more exciting for people to join early on when people are launching a paid community, because they can get a great deal that way. So yeah, fascinating stuff. Imagine all the people that are planning to do things, to launch something. At the same time, someone else is launching a so-called MVP, a minimum viable product. They're launching a paid community. They start getting members, and cash flow. Now they have a little bit money coming in, a little bit of profit. Now they can keep growing it, and get customer feedback. But they can talk to customers and improve and optimize the whole thing. And by doing it that way, in just a few short months, they can be off to the races, you know? So, maybe you find yourself in a situation kind of like me. I've been failing for almost 3 decades. It's crazy. But the past doesn't equal the future. And when it comes to paid communities, especially, the amount of value you can provide for people with a paid community is pretty mind-boggling to think about, especially if you choose your niche or category where you are building your paid community. If you choose that niche correctly, it's pretty mind-boggling how much value you can provide to customers and the kind of problems they can get a solution to just by being in a paid community, How would your life change if you're making like 10 to $40,000 in profit per month from your own paid community, your own community cash cow? How's that for a thought experiment? It's actually pretty fascinating if you think about it, how much lifestyle you could actually squeeze out of something like that. Who knows? You could probably live where you want to live, drive what you want to drive, wear what you want to wear. And then we have the freedom multiplier that Tim Ferriss talks about in the 4-hour work week, the 4 W's, where you can choose what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, and with whom you want to do it. The 4 W's, the freedom multiplier. If you're making like $40,000 in profit per month, I guess you could probably choose those things. And you'd probably also have time, income, and location independence. A paid community, as long as you have like a laptop, a smartphone, and an internet connection, you could run it basically from the rainforest. So when you have location independence, as well as time and income independence, it's a lot of opportunities that opens up. Anyway, maybe you should take action. If you have been thinking about ways to make money online, and this is something you want to do, maybe a paid community could be the opportunity for you to jump on. If you want to learn from a bunch of real life success stories, I highly advise you to go to communitycashcows.com. Then you can also connect with in that community, you can also connect with a bunch of other people that are also in the process of building their own paid community. So yeah, that's communitycashcows.com. All right, take care and God bless.